6 of Eddie Reynoso's fighters have tested positive for PEDs. The latest being Jaime Munguia 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Canelo will fight anywhere, anytime he's told, because he doesn't give a fuck. All he cares is about the money.
Oscar De La Hoya erupts, calling Canelo vs. Crawford a fraud and questioning the legitimacy of the money-driven matchup. With boxing fans having long fantasized about this mega showdown, the buzz grew louder once Netflix confirmed the match was officially happening. This dream matchup has been sitting at the top of fans' wish lists for years, often brought up in countless debates, predictions, and fantasy cards. But while fans are ecstatic, De La Hoya isn't holding back his criticism, this time targeting not just Canelo, but also Dana White, the UFC boss entering the boxing world as a promoter.
Because the boxing media isn't reporting on anything these days. I wonder why. Has anybody else noticed this? Well, I actually did some digging and confirmed many members of the boxing media have been paid off by certain people and essentially muzzled. I mean, these are the facts.
De La Hoya didn't waste any time expressing his frustration. Known for using his platform to air out boxing politics and rivalries, De La Hoya took aim at White, who now sits in the driver's seat for the Canelo Crawford event. He questioned the legitimacy of White's role in boxing, suggesting that White has never truly been part of the sport in any meaningful way. According to De La Hoya, White lacks the experience and credibility to promote high-level boxing, describing him as nothing more than a trust fund baby of boxing, someone who hasn't earned his position through sweat or experience.
You know what's laughable also? Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space. Has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate shit. And is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter. He's the trust fund baby of boxing. That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing.
One of the biggest points of contention for De La Hoya was the scheduling of the fight. Set to take place on Mexican Independence Weekend, the event will happen during the daytime in Las Vegas. This, according to De La Hoya, is a slap in the face to boxing tradition and its passionate fan base.
And get this. The fight will take place during the day on September 13th in Las Vegas. During the day. So Canelo will fight during the day on Netflix just to accommodate UFC Noche later that evening on a different network. So does that mean this fight isn't important? Do they not give a f about the fans or viewership? Why is it that Canelo has to fight during the day on Mexican Independence Weekend? And UFC with a roster of names I've never heard of is going on prime time.
He believes this time slot heavily favors UFC, positioning their product in the spotlight while pushing boxing to the side. To him, it's yet another example of how boxing continues to lose ground in mainstream sports culture, often due to decisions made by those outside the sport's legacy circles.
Cinco de Mayo. He's fighting in Riyadh, and now he's fighting during the day on the biggest weekend in boxing. Yeah, Canelo will fight anywhere, anytime he's told, because he doesn't give a fuck. All he cares is about the money. Doesn't give a fuck about the fans, about tradition, the Mexican weekend tradition. Oh, and Dana, what, now you're turning your back on the UFC? I mean, we all know you've been trying to get into boxing for years on your own and you couldn't do it. Remember Zuffa?
De La Hoya didn't stop there. He also took shots at the boxing media, accusing them of staying silent about important controversies. His comments pointed to Jaime Munguia's recent positive test results for performance-enhancing drugs, a situation that De La Hoya believes has been swept under the rug by journalists who should be holding athletes and promoters accountable.
Because the boxing media isn't reporting on anything these days. I wonder why. Has anybody else noticed this? Well, I actually did some digging and confirmed many members of the boxing media have been paid off by certain people and essentially muzzled. I mean, these are the facts. For example, 6 of Eddie Reynoso's fighters have tested positive for PEDs. The latest being Jaime Munguia 2 weeks ago. 6 fighters and nobody is questioning this? This doesn't seem suspicious or out of the ordinary to you? We just accept the explanation that everyone is eating tainted meat?
The former world champion seemed frustrated that no one was willing to question the integrity of those involved, especially when the stakes are so high and the event so public.
Come on, Jesus Christ. Doesn't this warrant an investigation of Eddie's camps? I mean, look, I've known Jaime for over 10 years, and he always tested clean up until his last camp with Eddie and his fight in Riyadh. How is it ethical that you have 6 fighters testing dirty from the same camp and we don't have questions or consequences? Where's the boxing media? I mean, they crucified Ryan Garcia every day for a full year.
As the boxing world begins to shift its predictions, Eddie Hearn also weighed in, stating that he wasn't surprised by Canelo's most recent performance. He pointed out that the change in public opinion stems from the belief that Canelo has lost the hunger and intensity he once brought to the ring. According to Hearn, Crawford might not only beat Canelo, but hurt him badly enough that it could push Canelo toward retirement.
The fact that he couldn't cut the ring off, I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired.
Like Terence Crawford, but he fears that might be exactly what happens. Hearn suggested that this could be the final fight of Canelo's career, as there may be no significant opponents left for him afterward. He also weighed in on a potential future matchup between Canelo and David Benavidez, offering his thoughts on how that fight might unfold.
And actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
No, really?
Yeah. Why would you carry on? You fight Crawford. Who else is there for Canelo Alvarez to fight?
David Benavidez, yeah.
But he's just not gonna. The size of Benavidez. Now, is Benavidez going to come back to 68? I don't know. Again, the same thing. I don't think Canelo would want to lose to Benavidez.
Furthermore, Hearn observed that Canelo is no longer the fighter he once was. He recalled watching Canelo's bout with William Skull while sitting alongside Terence Crawford, and remembered telling Crawford that he believed he could beat Canelo. Hearn highlighted Crawford's superior movement, ring IQ, and the fact that he is fresher and younger as key advantages that could lead him to victory.
Not the fighter he was. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of pride for those guys. So he's made a huge amount of money. I don't know, look, maybe it was just fighting in Saudi, the negative opponent, all this kind of stuff. But I was sitting next to Bud for the whole fight, and I was thinking, I think you'll probably beat him. You know? Wow. Don't get me wrong, it's a very tough fight for both. Great fight. But the movement of Terence Crawford and the ring IQ, and he looks like, in my opinion, the younger, fresher fighter. Even though they're both, 36 and 38? It's amazing.
Meanwhile, Oscar De La Hoya, continuing his long-standing feud with Canelo Alvarez, once again criticized him, this time alongside Dana White, as he weighed in on the promotion of the upcoming fight. De La Hoya claimed that nobody wants to see this fight, and alleged that fans are boycotting it due to Canelo ducking David Benavidez. He also took a shot at Dana White for scheduling a major boxing event on the same day as a UFC card, sarcastically mocking the decision and questioning its logic.
A fight that nobody asked for. Fans are now starting to boycott Canelo for continuing to duck You know who. Also, they're going up against the UFC at the Sphere. Ooh, good luck with making a splash with that one.
Meanwhile, David Benavidez has also taken shots at Canelo Alvarez's persona, calling him a cheater who claims to be the king but isn't. He referred to Canelo as a prima donna who constantly brags about his career while actively avoiding real fights. Benavidez accused him of holding his titles hostage and standing in the way of true competition.
How now, David, especially and particularly in your position, the fact that, you know, let's call it pink elephant in the room. Canelo, he doesn't want to fight you.
Yeah, bro, it's a little hard, you know, because obviously this is a fight that everybody wants to see. It's the biggest fight in boxing, in my opinion, right now. But it sucks when a guy, as Canelo says, that he's the king, he can do whatever he wants. He's basically holding the belt hostage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, king or prima donna.
In a recent segment on the Pound for Pound podcast, Henry Cejudo brought up an interview with Terence Crawford, in which Crawford praised David Benavidez for his exceptional fighting attributes. Benavidez acknowledged the praise, emphasizing that his combination of offense and defense is among the best. He then took aim at Canelo Alvarez, criticizing him for avoiding the fight while claiming to be the best. Benavidez argued that, as an officially ranked contender in the same weight class, he deserves the shot, and Canelo's refusal to face him puts his legacy in question.
From, you know, Terence Crawford. You know, and we had mentioned, he's like, hey man, what do you think of David Benavidez? And then someone was like, oh shit. It's kind of like that. It just puts things into perspective.
Yeah.
The dude's big, the dude's fast, the dude's strong, the dude's, you know, he's complimenting you. He's like, nah man, I don't want to fight that.
There's a lot of things I could do and a lot of things that people don't give me credit for, especially my defense this last fight. Really good.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been good at my defense, always, this whole time. Defense, offense, I could do everything. So when I see people, they don't want to take fights, I mean, I understand, but at the end of the day, are you not the best? Why the fuck do you keep saying you're the best? If you're not gonna fight everybody that claims that they're the best and they're in your same weight class and it's actually ranked, I don't know what else to say.
Sharing his thoughts, Dimitri Bivol noted that Terence Crawford could be a tough opponent for Canelo, highlighting Crawford's champion mentality. He said that once they're in the ring, Crawford won't give Canelo a moment to rest and will make it a challenging fight. Bivol added that the weight difference isn't something to worry about, as it's the skill level that makes this matchup so compelling.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think the fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, you know, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he won a rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. He did just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know.
Meanwhile, addressing concerns about the weight difference, Conor Benn noted that Terence Crawford is the kind of fighter who can beat anybody. He also praised Canelo, pointing out that he doesn't rely solely on his power, and went on to say that the fight would be a 50-50 matchup.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo.
Oh, Canelo, I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia, it's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.
Sharing his thoughts on the potential of this fight, Teddy Atlas also weighed in, calling it an intriguing yet highly competitive matchup. He praised Turkey for making the announcement, noting that this is the kind of fight everyone wants to see and one the boxing world truly needs right now.
Listen, I think it's an intriguing fight. I think there's been a lot of intriguing fights happening with Turkey Al-Sheikh in the last year and a half. Fights that have both been I think wanted by the fans and needed by the sport. He's been helping the sport in that way, bringing us fights that, again, are intriguing, are competitive, are the fights that we won't get and that we need to get. And this is one that falls into that category. Look, it goes back to the question in the history of the sport, one of the old time-honored questions: who wins?
Roy Jones Jr. shared a similar view, expressing concern that Crawford could be in serious trouble against Canelo. He emphasized that the size difference and Crawford naturally being the smaller man will play a major role in the fight. In his opinion, the real challenge lies in Canelo's punching power, something he believes Crawford won't be able to withstand over the course of the bout. Roy added that while Crawford is highly skilled, the physicality and strength Canelo brings to the ring might simply be too much for him to overcome.
What about him and Crawford?
I was highly impressed by his performance. Yeah,
what about him and Crawford?
Were you impressed by the power he showed? You know, he fought the proper fight for the proper opponent. When you fight a guy coming up 2 weight classes, you're supposed to bully him. If he'd fought Floyd Mayweather that way back in the day, we saw a much better fight. But he did. But he's learned now, and that shows you that he's improved, and he understands boxing more now because he bullied the smaller guy, which is what you're supposed to do. What you say?
What about Crawford, Roy?
Crawford still, I think he's a little big for Crawford. I'm not sure about that because Crawford does have punching power and shot, but I think Canelo's a little big. He showed tonight that he's pretty big. So I probably rather see Charlo fight Crawford first, and then see how that goes. If he does good against Charlo with the weight, then let's see him come up and fight Canelo. Yes, but not right now. I want to see Crawford come up from weight classes and show he can be dominant at 54.
Meanwhile, Amir Khan noted that this matchup shouldn't be viewed solely through the lens of size difference, but rather with more focus on skill, ring IQ, power, and speed. He acknowledged that Crawford is moving up significantly in weight, but believes the fight could go either way based on their skill sets.
Yeah, I mean, you need more than size, you need more than weight, you need more than everything. I mean, I think what you need now is you just need box IQ, the right box IQ, you know what I mean? You need to be smart, and someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power, you need more than speed, you need ring IQ, you need literally everything, because this is the two best pound for pound fighters who are going to be fighting each other, even though Crawford is going to be giving away a lot of weight, but I feel that it could go either way.
Voicing his support, Errol Spence shared his thoughts, noting that Canelo has previously fought opponents from lower weight classes. He highlighted that Crawford also has the capability to face him, dismissing the idea that it's a mismatch.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know, so, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that and fought.
Meanwhile, Tim Bradley admitted he feels concerned for Terence Crawford stepping in to face Canelo. He pointed out that Canelo is naturally stronger, and while he doesn't doubt Crawford's skill and strength, he described Canelo as a bull in the ring. Bradley advised Crawford to avoid trading punches directly with him.
That's what scares me about the Canelo fight, to be honest with you, because
he ain't gonna back down. He ain't gonna back down.
No, not. He's not gonna back, and he's tough, and that's what scares me about that fight, because you don't need to be trading with that bull. Like, I know you're strong, but that dude is naturally strong, and he's been at his weight class for a very long time, so he's acclimated. You don't need to be trading with this guy at all, regardless of how the fight is going.
Moving on, as the boxing world begins to react, Daniel Cormier also shared his thoughts on how the announcement has sparked a wave of excitement. He called the fight a great spectacle, but noted that there are several other elements that need to be taken into consideration.
You know, guys, there's nothing better, honestly, than a big fight getting announced. And whether it's in the UFC or in boxing, it gets you excited because you know it brings you back to those memories of when you were a kid and you got excited for the big boxing fight, or as the new generation, the big mixed martial arts fight. Today, we are going to talk about the big fight that was announced last night between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford which is going to be bananas, but there's also an extra bit to it.
Amid all the reactions, Edgar Berlanga also shared his thoughts. He stated that Canelo's only clear advantage is his size, while in his view, Crawford possesses superior ring IQ, power, and speed. He warned not to sleep on Crawford in this bout.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better, you know what I'm saying? But, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't.
The gloves are off, and not just in the ring. With Oscar firing shots, Dana stepping in, and legends predicting the end of Crawford's career on a high note, this fight is shaping up to be historic. If you're hyped for Canelo versus Crawford, or have your own take on the drama, drop it in the comments. Smash that like button if you're ready for September 13th, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss the next round. Until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and keep your hands up. Stay tuned as the boxing drama heats up. Will Canelo respond, or is this just the beginning of a bigger fight outside the ring?